have I got a delicious, inviting, thirst-quenching deal for you. Yeah. Look at the beads of sweat. Look at the condensation of the bottles, just cold and waiting for you at its peak deliciousness.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. Peake Ranch. Peake Ranch. Chardonnay. These guys make great wine. Peake Ranch. Have you heard of them? Yeah. Yeah, you have. The family owns some great vineyards. Great vineyards. We're featuring two of them today. So the family owns Sierra Madre, John Sebastiano, and the Peake Ranch Vineyard. All supreme sites for Chardonnay and Pinot Noir and some Syrah and some Grenache and this and that and the other. These two sites, this is fun. I'm excited to do this today because we have two Chardonnay sites in the Santa Rita Hills on the east side of the Santa Rita Hills, one 5 miles north of the other one. All right, so let's get to it. Santa Rita Hills, you know the area, we've talked about it a lot. Transverse valley running east-west. The cold air from the Pacific rushes in, and the guys on the west side of the Santa Rita Hills, like the Hilts, Bent Rock, Radian, Domaine de la Côte, make really steely, minerally tight, vertical styles of Chardonnay from their vineyards so close to the ocean. And the guys on the east side of the Santa Rita Hills still make quite cool climate Chardonnays. That influence is felt all the way through the valley, but these wines have a little more, little more meat on the bone, right? Little more richness to them. But we're going to find out the differences between the Peake Ranch Vineyard and the John Sebastiano Vineyard. They're both awesome. They both got the same score, by the way. Both, I believe, both 95 from Dunnick. So these are both compelling, amazing Chardonnays, made the same way, mind you. 100% Chardonnay, a touch less than 30% new oak. One of them is 28% new oak, one of them is 29% new oak. Let's taste these. Let's just nerd out, shall we? Nerd alert. All right, so first off, we're digging into the Peake Ranch Vineyard. This is the one south of 246. The Peake Ranch side is south of 246. As you're heading into the Santa Rita Hills, it'll be on your left-hand side, kind of like the old Sanford property, that neck of the woods, if you're familiar with the Santa Rita Hills. That's just a Chardonnay hug. Juicy, rich, floral, a touch toasty, properly toasty, not overly toasty. Very finely balanced, good length. Fruit varying a little more towards tropical as opposed to apple. So a touch tropical and a touch of that, you know, a little more of the pear thing going on. Lip smacking wine. That is a serious ass Chardonnay. Beautiful. The florals come back on the side, on the finish. The cooler aspects of the site are conveyed through the finish as opposed to the mid palate, which is actually quite rich and lovely. Well, let's talk about that real quick. 2022 was a hot year everywhere in California, but the moderating influence of the Pacific Ocean in 2022 made the Santa Rita Hills, of course, less hot, but you still feel the richness. It's almost like east side of Santa Rita is almost like a perfect vintage. You know, it was warm, but you could do some great wines in 2022, as these probably most certainly are. All right, John Sebastiano. John Sebastiano is north of 246 in the northeastern corner of the Santa Rita Hills AVA. Here we have a little more elevation, but I mean, technically, I guess we're further away from the water, so maybe it would be a little warmer, but if it's like 200 feet higher, then there might be a degree less temperature influence, which would be cooling. So here we check this out. All right. This one is the one I think is a little Frenchier of the two. Maybe a slight kiss of reduction in this one that has you thinking more the B word. No, not that B word. Burgundy. What were you guys thinking? Silly. Very palate caressing. This one you feel the oak a little more. This one has a little more palate caressing texture. This one has maybe a touch more size. This one a touch more silk. And you get fruit prevalent on the palate. So here you have those florals dancing in, providing complexity on the backside. Here you feel the complexity more in the mid palate, and then you're just left with this like straight green apple fading to pear type finish. Absolutely lovely. And they are different. You guys will ask, is one bigger than the other? I don't think so. These wines carry about the same weight. I think they're both 13% alcohol or something. I forget. I think they're the same alcohol level. Like, if I were like classifying Burgundy wise, like maybe this one's a little more Chassagne and this one's a little more Polini, if we're going to use those comparisons. But what I can tell you is these are two epic Santa Rita Hills Chardonnays. That's clear. Both delicious, both meaningful, both, wow, very vibrant and rich and lovely. And they're all sweaty. They're not delicious. So here's the deal. $60 retail at the winery, but they are moving into their 23s. So half price. Half price. Half. 50% off. Was 60, now 30. Well, technically $29.98. $29.98, your choice. Again, I'd recommend collecting the set. Variety is the spice of life. Buy a little bit of each. They're both made the same way, same amount of oak, same score. Chardonnay from vineyards grown 5 miles apart. Why the hell wouldn't you buy a couple bottles of each and compare them next to each other? That's kind of what wine's all about, right? Right? It is, yes. Click. Buy these wines. This deal is a limited deal. It was a one shot. After we sell these, we are done. They've moved on, and we're done. Like us. If you like the videos, if you dig them, if you love me, like us. Oh, buy these wines. Yeah, we already said that. Oh, subscribe. Subscribe to our page. We want to maintain our billing as one of the top 100 wine sites on YouTube. We are, Patrick, I hate to say it, kind of almost big deal. Cheers.